Ya está grabando.
¿Qué tal, chicos? ¿Cómo están? Estamos aquí en un nuevo video. Estamos en lo que es el decklist de aquí de un compañero de Digimon que se llama Kevin. Nos va a enseñar lo que es el deck amarillo de él. Así que muchas gracias por esto y comencemos.
Okay. So first, we're gonna start off basic. We're gonna do the Digi Eggs. We got 2 Tokomon, 3 Cupidmon. Originally, I ran 4 Tokomon, 1 Kyaromon, but I felt like with the TK getting hit after the ban list, I really wanted to have that security rigging, but I wanted to keep some of the draw power. So I have 2 draws, and then the rest eggs are just cycle through security. Next, everyone knows it, the Fat Potato Boy Patamon. Run it as a 4-of, mandatory. This card's amazing if you don't know what it does. It lets you Digivolve from security at start of main, and then you tuck a vaccine back inside for security stack. Not much else to say. Oh, and inheritable, you gain a memory whenever you add something to your security stack. Next, we're running 3 Luxmon. Now, Luxmon's really good because people neglect the fact that you can grab 2 Digimon, actually. You can grab an Angel and a 3 Great Angels. So a lot of times, like, you'll hit Dominimon and, like, a Cherubimon, and you'll be able to grab both. And having that threat of an ace in your hand kind of, like, makes your opponents have to play around it. So it's a lot of a mental game, too. Only 2 Kudamon. Ever since the ban list, I'm less reliant on seeing Tamers. So I only like playing 2. And the inheritable comes up sometimes, rarely though. 2 Pillowmon. It's Pillowmon. It's your floodgate. This stops essentially any of the dual tamers from like the DNA decks that play out a free rookie. It can stop random things like Fenglong being played out of the option. Just anything by effects, it stops, and that's always a good time. We're kind of breezing through this. So I have the 1 of Salamon. Again, more security rigging, and the inheritable is really good. Minus 2k whenever you remove something. It's always a good time. Our level 4s are pretty strict. We got 4 Angemon from BT14. This card is amazing. It's really good because 1 it Digivolves for 2 off Patamon, so sometimes you'll whiff in security, and then you'll still get to Digivolve for a regular 2. But the best part is you can swing, blow itself up, tuck it to the bottom of security, so that'll get you a recovery, and it'll set up for your next Pata. If you have a Tamer also, you get to hatch, so you get to kind of cycle and get ready for next turn, so that's always good. And the inheritable is kind of the same effect. When it gets, let me see if I can censor it into the camera. When it gets deleted, you get to place a vaccine at the bottom. It doesn't have to be an angel either, it's just any vaccine, which leads to our next card. 4 Gatomon. This card is absolutely nuts. Gatomon's really good because if you ever hit it off Patamon in security, you get 2 memory for Digivolving. So it's kind of like you're not paying the cost, you're getting rewarded the cost. Also, while it's on the board, whenever something's removed from security, you gain a memory, which is where that first memory comes from with the Pata. And then inheritable is barrier, and that's super important when you get to our top end. The level 5s are a little... I just played around with them today, so it might be a little different, but we've got 3 Magna Angemon. This card's really great because you can Digivolve, or on play you get the effect, and you get to Digivolve in your security for 2 less cost than what you're normally paying. So a lot of times you'll have a lot of memory with this deck, so you don't mind paying the 4 to Digivolve and then 2 extra to go into Domini from security. And you can do a lot of wacky stuff. Like I once had like a Domini in security, Digivolved into Magna Angemon, tucked another Domini in, and then hard played another Angemon from security to go into a second Dominimon, and having 2 on board is always a threat to opponents. And the inheritable makes every angel a blocker, so that's just plus. This was at 3. I might go back to it at 3, but right now we're playing 2 Angelmon Ace. This card's really good. It kind of lets you free play your Gatomons when you trash them from security. Also, in synergy with Dominimon, like if you ever have a Dominimon on board and an Angelmon on board, and somebody tries to out anything you have, you can trash the top card of security, and if it ends up being 3 or less, Angelmon will recover you back, so it's kind of like you got to do it for free. So that's always super cool. Next, we have the 1-ofs. 1 Angelmon from EX6, 1 Archive from EX6, and then 1 Magna Angemon Ace. So starting with Magna Angemon Ace, I exclusively play this card for if I see this first turn, I will drop this first turn along with my Patamon in the back or whatever I have in the back. Because then next turn, you can go straight into Dominimon, and it's kind of hard for your opponent to answer that on turn 1. Beyond that, it's also just a generic recover 1 for 4. So sometimes you might have too little security than you'd like, and you'd just need that recover. And then you get to zap something equal to the amount in your security. Angelmon, I play this exclusively to give her Alliance, to give my Digimon Alliance. With Mother Shoto running around, you kind of need big DP bodies just to even like stay in the game, and having Alliance is good. I might even bump this up to 2, but I have to see about that. And then Archai is dope because you can grab the top or bottom card of your security, then tuck something to the bottom, and give something -4. And then it also gives everything blocker, so not the best, not the worst, but I like this card a lot. Finally, we get up to our star. 4 Dominimon. I was playing this at 3, but recently I found that I was missing it. 4 Dominimon's great. This card is fucking nuts. Excuse my language. You get to just blanket protect anything by just trashing one card in your security, and then you get to zap something for -7, whether you play something or not. So a lot of times you'll just go sit on this on board, and your opponent kind of has to like just think of ways to out it. And if you can give it barrier, it's like almost unkillable, and it just really tilts your opponent when they're playing against it. For our rest of our megas, we have 2 Cherubimon Ace. I want to play 3 of this card. Just can't find the room. Cherubimon Ace is really good because you get to play out a level 4 or lower. So right away, you get to bust out a level 4, zap something equal to everything else you have on board times 4K. So it's just, a lot of times your opponent can't answer that right away. And it has Alliance. So again, we're back to the Alliance hitting over Mother, which is like the main deck of the format right now. You just need big, strong monsters to punch things really, really hard. And the little Angel Clown does that. One Serafimon from BT14. I went back to playing this card because I like giving things -7, and the extra security check comes up in early game aggression. Not to mention, it's all turns. So if you like Angelmon Ace on your opponent's turn, get to zap something by 6, and then recover. Serafimon Ace will also get to give something -7 on the same turn. Not Serafimon Ace. BT14 Serafimon gets to give something -7 even on your opponent's turn, and that's just really strong. And you know, Evo Cup art is really good. One Elfani Ace. I'm still not sold on this card. It has synergy with Dominimon in the same way Angelmon does, and sometimes security +1 is really strong. But in all honesty, I might cut this for the 3rd Cherubimon. I just like giving things -8 sometimes. It's really strong. Level 7 Ruin Mode. It's Ruin Mode. It's Ruin Mode. Give the blanket -5 on your opponent's turn, stall for a turn, clean up next turn. It's really strong, and it like absolutely kills Imperial Dramon when you go into this. Now I'm actually testing out Shine Gray Burst Mode, and it's actually been coming up a lot, and it's really strong because no one expects you to have a level 7 ace in this deck. And just, it's always fun to see your opponent like stress about what aces you might have when you have aces of every level. So it's more of like a funny pick, but I found that it puts in work because if you get to sit on this on your turn, you can basically swing for 3 checks at 15, and not a lot of decks have anything to answer that. Tamer lineup's going to be quick because it's kind of generic. We got the 1 of TK. Card's great. It's banned to 1 for a reason. Weirdly enough, hitting it to 1 hasn't hurt the deck too much. Sucks, but it's great. 2 of the BT15 Kari. So this card didn't see a lot of value when it first came out. I found it kind of like lackluster, but recently with a lot of cards that remove stuff from security by effect, like Ancient Garurumon, this completely shuts down their combo because they'll bounce a card from your security stack, or if they try to bounce one of your angels, they'll Minimon or remove something, and then you can give it sec -1, and it's just great. Also, if she's trash in security, she gives something sec -1, so you have value on all ends of the board. And then also it's a memory setter, so who doesn't like a good memory set? We play 1 of the TK and Kari. This is a new addition to the deck. I like the ability to give something blocker at the start of my turn. I feel like that's really strong. And then when you play or digivolve an angel, you get to gain a memory, and it just makes your aces cost 3 instead of 4, which lets you keep turn a lot of the time, and then you can go into shenanigans. And I really enjoy playing this card right now. 1 of the TK and Kari from BT6. A lot of times in this version of the deck, we're trashing cards from our security, so we're going to have less than our opponent until we can like make our big play for game. So starting with 2 more memory than usual kind of helps offset Digimon Emperor and any other like things your opponent might be playing. Also, just starting at 5 memory instead of 3 would be nuts in this deck. 1 of the TK might bump it up to 2. I like it because it helps you like funnel out your security if you open with a kind of like a bricky hand. It's good. It's just DK. It's been the same since BT1. People still play it for a reason. Glare is like really getting it. Then we'll play the 1-up Digimon Emperor. It's Digimon Emperor. It's meta. You blow things up a lot in this deck, so getting to draw really helps. This kind of helps substitute for the Tokomon eggs also. Now the options, I kind of cut down on the options a lot, but we're doing 2 yellow memory boosts. Don't have the all art for the second one. I'm crying about it. But I was playing training boosts at first, but then I realized in this deck I kind of want to see my Digimon more than anything else now, because that's just the way the game is going. And gaining 2 memory kind of lets you dance around the Imperial Digimon Dragon mode, where if you would use training boost to reduce the the Digivolution cost by 2, they get to go nuts. But if I just gain 2 memory and Digivolve, it's kind of the same thing. 1 Revelation, 1 Emissary, get to play out anything, and then when it's trash from security, well, you get to that level 4 lower yellow, and then when it's trash from security, -5 across the board. Also, kills Imperial Digimon if played right. It's really good. Emissary is Emissary, Digivolve from security. If you have a TK, recover 1. Great times. And then the 1-up Heaven's Judgment. Heaven's Judgment is just the kill spell. I was thinking about playing Wyvern's Breath instead, but I have found myself sometimes sitting on multiple colors and being able to get something -18 over -15, makes it really strong. That's it for the deck. Possible changes I would make. I would probably add a third of the where is she? Of the Angelmon Ace, and maybe a third Cherubimon, but definitely would play like 3 or 4 of Angelmon Ace. I think that card is really strong. I'd probably cut this down to 2 even, the Magna Angemon. But other than that, I think that's pretty much everything for the video. Like, comment, follow, and yeah, be safe, everybody.